My name is Harvey Brooks, and we're here today for describing my research on the great canoe in the American Museum of Natural History. But however, looking at my background, a little complicated. My mother died when I was 2. I was in Port Simpson then. Then they couldn't keep me, so my uncle took me, and he lived in New Westminster. My uncle was, in 1920s, became the chief Nisquamiq of the grizzly bear, of the killer whale tribe. My grandfather's, which his canoe belonged to, was the Gitxaklath Raven tribe. And he was the one I went to during the summer holidays. They had me up there to familiarize myself with Port Simpson, hoping I would pick things up and probably stay there. But being away, since I was 2 years old, it was interesting being there, but I wanted to get back to what I called my family at that time. I went to my family at that time. George Henry Brooks, Nisquamiq, became enfranchised, but that didn't enfranchise me because I wasn't his legally white adopted type child. I was his adopted child by the Indian method, and so, but I didn't become enfranchised. So I went to a residential school in Coquilitza, 1937. And at that time, my brothers and sisters were already going into grade 2 at that time in a public school system in New Westminster. But after the residential school, Coquilitza, I considered one of the most progressive residential schools, although the residential schools have a bad name and everybody has a negative opinion of them, and I have a few of those negative opinions. But Coquilitza is one of the most progressive residential schools I saw. It was a farming community, and we raised our own vegetables on the farm and everything else. We as little kids were just a cleanup crew, weeding and all that in the grounds. But we stayed there 2 years, till 1939 when war was declared. Then they moved us, and the building was ready in Port Alberni. We moved to Port Alberni. But taking a look at Coquilitza and remembering some of the positive aspects I had of it, my uncle, Nisquamiq, or George Henry Brooks, went to that residential school. So that was why I was probably selected to go there. I didn't know nothing about the Tsimshian culture. In fact, when I went to residential school, Oscar Peterson, a neighbor who drove us to Chilliwack, and my uncle drove me up to this building which was covered with ivy. And the boys' supervisor, Mr. Peake, met us out in front and the side, and they were well aware of how to handle the situation with a new recruit. So they brought me out there and talked to me, and they brought some people from Port Simpson to introduce me to them, and the names I recognized. One is Pollard, but I didn't recognize them then. Now I do. I know them pretty well. So I would look around very uneasy, and the Peak says, "Do you want to ride on the motorcycle?" Oh, I wanted to ride on that motorcycle. So we got on the motorcycle, and we went down to the end of the field and came back. By the time I got back there, Oscar Peterson's car was gone, so was my uncle. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm there. Okay, I had that introduced to the residential school. But while we were there in the summers, we didn't go home, but we had to a summer camp in White Rock on the reserve there. They had a summer camp. We had a summer camp. We spent from end of June, July, August, and then we returned to Coquille. That was a great time. But then reality woke up. We went to Port Alberni, and I called it the rock farm. It was no farm there at all. Nothing, only one river bottom land where we planted tomatoes, but the rest was just boulder, rock and boulders. And I spent there till I left. At the completion of grade 9, I gave them part of give me a pass. It wasn't a good experience there.